Huh? I don't really know how I got started with basketball. I mean, was a complete tomboy. Played outside, was nothing but kids outside in our neighborhood, and playing throw-up tackle to roller bat to dodgeball to hide and go seek, all kind of things. And then somehow basketball, I got a basketball, and I was good. I think I started at Carl Russell Recreation Center. My grandparents would take me down there. I would ride my bike after school. All of us in this area would ride our bikes all the time, and we just spent a lot of time at the recreation centers.
That's what I do it for. Yeah. Watch me get it, you can get it, we can have it. Tell me what you do it for. Yeah. There's a bigger picture than just running to the back. Blood, sweat, and tears, put in all these years just to make you smile a little wider, life a little brighter. That's what I do it for. Tell me what you do it for.
About 6, 7, 8 years old. Grandmother would bring me to every practice, and I started playing basketball here and loved it ever since. Let's go. How are you? Good. This is Brown Lee, was one of the first ones working with me at a very young age. So thankful to see him still here, changing kids' lives and being very impactful. So definitely grateful for that. From elementary to middle school, I went to Moore Elementary, went to Walkertown Middle, and then I went to Carver High. So we spent a lot of time here at Carl Russell, and they pretty much treated us like family. They took care of us. That's certain family right here, of course. Good. How are you?
How you doing?
Good.
Yes, good. How you been getting along?
Been doing well.
You grew up here? Grandma did everything for you, did she? She knew you I've been knowing you since you was in the little walker, in the cradle.
Absolutely.
And everything.
Well, thank you. It's always good to see you.
You know it is. Take care.
Thank you. Was born here in Winston-Salem. My mother, Porsche Jones. My father, Albert Scales. Guess we're young parents, and like most young parents, lived some young lives, and I was, blessed enough to be kind of reared by my grandparents. My father's parents took custody of me about 6 weeks, 6 months old, from the stories I've been told, and it's been interesting. I'm about to cry. This is her 90th birthday. We had, I planned a surprise birthday party for her. And I finally was able to surprise her on this day. So she turned 90 on this day. But this is a picture of me and my grandmother probably traveling somewhere to a convention or God knows what. Oh Lord, this is some tough days, I suppose. So this is Carver High School. I spent 4 years here. My grandmother despised the idea of me going to Carver. And I begged and I begged and I begged. And Coach Poe was very, very a strong advocate about me coming to here. Figure out how to kind of put girls basketball on the rise here. And as you can see, we went from being defeated my freshman year to going to the state championship the next year. And then we went 30-0 my junior year. And so we definitely left our mark in North Carolina in Carver High School. Carver is a place that helped me understand who I was as a person. So we do all that. Was lucky enough, I had great teammates, amazing people, Coach Poe, Coach Carter, Coach Mike was even greater, and was able to go to Wake Forest. All right, so this is the infamous Coach Poe. He was and is probably one of the most important people in my life to this day. The one thing I appreciated about him is that he held me accountable in so many ways that I thought I was giving my best, and he showed me that there was another level to kind of measure how well I was doing, how hard I was competing, how well was I being a point guard, what would make me a better player, what would make me a better person. A lot of who I am today, my drive, how I compete, being a female in a male-dominated industry with hosting tournaments with my trucking company, with just living life. A lot of things that Coach Poe taught me at 14, 15 years old is still sticking to me today.
Sometimes I had to get on her, and, but in a nice way. When I didn't think that she was putting out as much as she should be putting out. And that's all I had to say to her. Worked real hard. And she didn't give Coach Carter and I any problems at all. Basically, she was a perfect person. And that's why I love her so. During the summer, we would go to team camps so that we could show the college coaches what we had. And they saw a gym in Porsche and Camille and everything. We came over here to Wake Forest and went to camp, I think, about every summer. And then I met Coach Curtis. I told her, I said, you need to get this young lady here. She can help your program. Kept talking to Coach Curtis, kept talking, and she saw participating in team camp and everything. And when she became a senior, I told Porsche, I said, I'd like for you to go to Wake Forest. And I thought Coach Curtis would do a good job with her. And I said, you need to make up your mind and decide what you want to do. So she made up her mind to attend Wake Forest.
I had an opportunity to get to know Porsche when she was in high school, and I was coaching at Wake Forest and had a chance to watch their Carver teams play as often as we could see them play, because they were one of the best teams in the area. They were our local team, and Porsche was the point guard on that team. Watched her, and said, I don't know, I really like her, but she's so small. The one thing I noticed, and I had been noticing it, but it really was highlighted at camp, that she got the ball to the right person at the right time so that they could do something with it. So in terms of leading the show, being the floor general, to me the size did not matter, because she could play against bigger players, she was quick, she could get the ball to where it needed to go, and she could shoot the ball. So I first got to know her just as a basketball player. But then in the recruiting process, I got a chance to get to know her as a person. Nothing was said negative about Porsche. And when I got to meet her family, particularly her grandmother, Dr. Scales, I understood what kind of made up Porsche Jones. And her family, the support that she got from her family and the community, and I just knew she would be somebody who would be a great person in our program here at Wake Forest.
Coach Poe and Coach Carter really kind of brainwashed me and really believing that even though I was small and was dealing with some injuries and some different things, that I could play. And so from getting those opportunities, I start, seeing myself in the newspaper a little bit more. I start, hearing people kind of screaming my name. I'm like, wow, I might be pretty decent at this thing called basketball. And so from going to Carver to Wake was a bit of a culture shock. If I can be honest, it was a blessing amongst all things. It was different with the class sizes, the structure, time management. I went from being a high school kid to a college kid with pretty much no life. Practices to weightlifting to meetings to study hall. Essentially, I didn't get the opportunity to really understand what that difference would be from high school to college. Coming out of high school, I played in an East-West All-Star game. Coach Poe told me not to play. Of course, I didn't listen. Played probably a couple minutes into the game, super competitive, and ended up hurting my knee pretty bad, but still continued to play throughout the game. Thankfully, when I got to, Wake, we went through like the physical process and kind of understanding what type of things I needed to work on, and I still had issues with my knee. I had the x-rays and the MRIs. It was, heartbreaking, to be honest. I remember crying and crying when the doctor came in and told me that the surgery went well, but I had like a hole, like a dime-sized tear from my MCL or PCL. And of course, I didn't understand what that meant, but I clearly knew when he said, like medical red shirt, you would have to sit out. I was devastated. But it was an opportunity that, I could kind of adjust from going from high school to college, really focus on like making the dean's list and a lot of the different challenges that I heard a lot of different my teammates talking about. I felt it was an opportunity for me to kind of just get accustomed to being in school. So Even though it was a negative, you know, that's my thing. Anytime I can turn it into a positive, that's what I focus on. So I tore my knee, but you know, I got bigger, faster, stronger. I'm not gonna get too much taller as far as height, but I definitely got strong, and I definitely learned from watching on the sidelines.
There go Porsche! Ah! What's up, man? I'm over here laughing. I thought they were laughing at me over there. Over here, they were waving at me, but they wasn't waving at me. The things that she do, the way she carries herself is very, very elegant. She gets that from Mrs. Scales and Mrs. Jones and Mama Jones as well, you know, so I know their family. And I know that she has an awesome upbringing. And the things that she loves to do for this community has been like amazing, you know, to see her grow as a person and an entrepreneur in this area, you know, so.
Josh and I kind of came together. We thought about some different opportunities to give back to the city of Winston-Salem. One of the things that we both focus on is creating legacy. And this was an opportunity where we thought kids could, you know, exercise and work out and it'd be comfortable for the parents. We both believe in, you know, health and wellness, and so this was a perfect opportunity. We did so many activities here at the gym, so we thought it would be great to actually have a footprint at this YWCA and be able to make an opportunity for parents so that if they came to work out, they still had a safe place for their kids to come and exercise and be safe and be well cared for. So.
Watching my cousin go through the injury she dealt with during basketball in her college career was rough on me as much as it was on her, because I knew she could do it. But every time she had an injury, she prevailed. I took some of that courage from her when I tore both my ACLs and realized that I could come back from it because I watched my cousin do it. And hell, she even did it not too long ago, you know, and still bounced back. So Winston was kind of like a free-for-all when I was coming through high school. So one thing I noticed when I came through was really there wasn't a lot of camps for kids to do and things of that nature. So I set foot first when I got enough money to start my foundation to start doing camps every year for free. I knew my cousin was coming right behind me, and when she came to me with the idea about the bond, well, bond was a project that Porsche brought to me, you know, and I just wanted to support her as much as I could, so I just put my name behind her and pushed it, trying to get these young kids out of this city through scholarships, through basketball, which could create scholarships for them is one thing that we knew we could do. Bond is well known. A lot of people want to play in those tournaments, want to get into the program, so it's awesome just to see t-shirts when people walk around and know that I have a part of that, you know, and it's just a part of Porsche. It's not mine, but it's her, and to have a part of her is awesome.
My first year out of college, I started a program called BOND, which stands for Building on New Development. In 2007, I graduated in 2006. And it was an opportunity to, you know, impact young girls the same way I was impacted. I played basketball growing up, but mostly with boys. And so when I had the opportunity to play with girls, it kind of came kind of natural, kind of easy to me. I wish I would have took it a little bit more serious. Because of that, I started this all-girls program and wanted to teach girls the same things I learned by the time I got to college. All 22 of those girls that came through my program were blessed enough to get full scholarships, whether athletically or academically, so that's something I'm super, super proud of. From there, the bond side went from a non-profit sector to for-profit. So we do bond basketball where we host tournaments pretty much every weekend. Bond basketball is something that I've grown to completely love. It gives me an opportunity to kind of, the things that I learned as a coach and as a player, traveling, doing certain things, I wanted to create a company that would encompass all of the things that I learned that were good and bad. And so with Bond Basketball, I try to give an opportunity for kids in this region to completely showcase their talent, give them an opportunity to do something positive.
From that point on, I just supported her with Bond, and that was it. It took off. I knew it was in good hands with her. I knew she was going to do what she was supposed to do with it, and I mean, to this day, it's still thriving, getting kids into colleges all around the world, or the United States, and I mean, it's going to continue to grow as long as, you know, I'm here pushing her and she's pushing herself.
At 5 years old, it was like, oh my gosh, this child want to play basketball. And because really, no girls in the family is playing basketball, but kind of like followed her with that, and she was doing such a good job with the basketball. A lot of guys was kind of like, I don't want to play against Porsche, because they didn't want to get, I guess, their little feelings hurt. Or her and her brother, they used to fight like cats and dogs all the time. I remember it was one time where they was on the in the backyard playing basketball, and my son got mad because he beat up real bad in basketball, and he come in the house crying. And I just remember one time we had a church league. She was the only girl that was playing on that league, and she out there with these big dudes playing basketball, but she gave it her all in all, and that let me know then that girl is a true basketball player, playing with a bunch of, we talking about grown men. Then I was like, yeah, she's gonna be okay. Her grandmother raised her, and she's always said, I've always had two sides of both worlds, and which is so true. Is there anything I never told Porsche? Cause we talk so much. So what I would like to say, that I love her unconditionally, and I knew from the day of April the 16th of 1984 that she was going to be great. I've watched her grow into the woman she is now, always looking out for someone else, not selfish, and making sure that everybody in her circle, I guess you want to say, that is taken care of. She loves her family. She loves her siblings, her grandmother. And I just want to say that I am so, so, so proud of my daughter. And I always tell her that I am thankful to say that you are my child. And I love you so much. So with that being said, when you get two sides of the world, you can't do nothing but be great.
It feels great to be back on a campus that, pretty much gave me the opportunities to be a young adult and kind of dream chase. Not too many 5'2", 125-pound young kids get the opportunity to play at such a high level. So to make it to the level that I made it, with so many different barriers, was definitely something that I think other people can kind of look up to. Like, being small is not something that should keep you from kind of reaching your goals. But to play against some of the top talent, during the time I was here at Wake, Duke was in the top 4, Carolina was in the top 4, Maryland was in the top 4 in the NCAA tournament. So we had great competition, great years. It means the world to me, the people that I met while I was in college. Some of my teammates became my line sisters, and we became Delta women together. A lot of the coaches here, I went through 3 or 4 different coaches throughout my period of time playing here. Some of them I still, talk to. Thankful Coach Curtis came to the funeral of my grandmother a couple months ago. So those relationships mean more to me than anything in the world. So when I was at Carver, I wore number 11, and if they would have had number 1 available at Carver, I would have got one. Number 11 got retired when I left high school. Thankfully, Coach Poe was super proud of some of the accolades that I was able to reach. And so when that jersey retired, I wanted to start something new, start a new chapter, bring something fresh to Wake Forest. If anybody know anything about youth sports like Pop Warner, football, basketball, the best players were number 1, number 3. Again, being 5'2", small in stature, but Coach Curtis took a chance. Pretty much the rest is history. I didn't get to play all 4 years with her, but she completely changed my life, and I was able to start and just get exposed to, going to college, going to a great school, being able to go back and get my master's. A lot of that happened from me being exposed to the opportunities here at Wake. Usually during game days, people would be out here and we would kind of high five and speak to each other. The media room used to be off in this area. So the goal was to always get to the media room and talk positive about the game. Of course, Chris. Our families are, very, very close. Very, very good friends growing up, and came here and, we're friends throughout. He's had an amazing career. Definitely love his family. Mama and Papa Paul, special people to me for sure. Big cousins, Jersey. Had an amazing impact in Winston-Salem, and I think my mom has a jersey like this at home that Josh gave to us. Every single team that I was on, we had some good times. We lost a lot of games. We won some games. You know, we learned a lot about each other. Wake is a pretty much, you know, a nice close-knit family. We may not see each other all the time, but, you know, whenever we do see each other, it's like, you know, we've never lost touch. All those people have meant the world to me. There's probably so many people, I can't name them all, from my academic advisors. Miss Caldwell was the person who planned all our classes and made sure that we graduated, kept us in study hall. Dwight Lewis was a great person. Even to this day, we still stay in contact, and you know, he's really one of the reasons why we were able to get into the locker room. So, you know, I graduated from Wake 13 years ago, and to still be able to have access and to have these positive relationships. I mean, I didn't play a full 4 years due to injuries, but I think the impact that I left here was important, and that's something I always want to teach kids. It's always how you make people feel and building good relationships and making sure that you stand on top of everything that you're supposed to, because one day it will make a difference. And 13 years later, I'm sitting here in the locker room talking about my entire life, so you never know.
I never forget when she injured her knee. She laid in the bed and, you know, at the hospital, and she just like, you know, it's over now. Because, you know, she had tore Achilles, and she knew then that she couldn't play, you know, so she had to get redshirted. But to look at her and see how she was just looking like, oh, I know it's over for me right now. Now, it was a couple of injuries at Carver. You know, as a mother, you don't want to see your child, you know, be hurting, but at the same time, she loved the game of basketball, so it's like if she had to do that to help her team win.
So me and Josh probably talk about so many different things, but he probably isn't 100% aware that a large part of why I chose to go to Wake Forest was kind of following in his footsteps. Josh was a person that I basically always looked up to. My uncle and his aunt married when I was a kid, and we kind of grew up like blood cousins, and we treat each other that way. It was difficult watching him, you know, learn some of the things that he needed to learn, and it was difficult to watch him be treated a certain type of way because I know him differently than how other people may know him. When I first, you know, started looking at Wake Forest and started getting the opportunity to come on campus, you know, Josh made it known very quickly, like, that's my little cousin, nobody could touch me, nobody could say anything to me, nobody could disrespect me. Like, he just completely was like the big brother that I never had. And that relationship that we built, you know, growing up together, seeing each other for like holidays, it was almost like I saw him every single day by the time I got to Wake. And he just completely showed me the ropes. You know, he gave me opportunities when I first started with Bond. I remember going to him and telling him that I wanted to start this girls program. At that time, I was teaching at Carver High School. I was coaching. I wasn't making any money. I think I was working at Parks and Rec. My goal, my focus was to help these young girls. And from the beginning, Josh was like, well, whatever you need, you know, tell me what you need, I'll make sure you can get it. I think I was charging them the parents like $75 for the year to play in my program. Had no idea about budgeting or how to take care of anything. You know, Josh gave me a level of comfort because he believed in me, he supported me, and even to this day, he still believes and he still shows me complete support, regardless of what's going on, regardless if we talk every day. I don't know if I would have decided to come to Wake after coming on my visit, and I was just like culture shocked. I wasn't accustomed to the things that I was seeing. Knowing that Josh was here gave me a complete level of comfort. So, I mean, I'm completely thankful for him for that, as well as the support that he always gave me, from supporting me with camps, coming to my camps, talking to the kids, giving money to the kids, buying shoes. I mean, I remember we didn't have full uniforms for the girls. We had like t-shirts and like bootleg shorts, but we had on a fresh pair of Jordans, you know, that Josh sent us. So Josh means the world to me. Josh is a winner. He's a champion to me, and so, you know, I only hope to be able to achieve mostly all of what he's achieved plus more. This is to the person. I was born April 16th, 1984. was a long time ago. Throughout my life, I've had more ups than downs by far. But I wouldn't be half the person that I am without your support, without your love, without your understanding. I know things were probably difficult with me growing up, and just with all transparency, I grew up seeing my mom every Wednesday, every other weekend. I had to split holidays. I mean, it was very emotional for me, very confusing. I want to thank you for just being understanding, not making the load heavier for me as a child, trying to weed through some of the things that I had to go through. I want to thank you for understanding my relationship with my grandmother. You know, so many times I remember growing up not really understanding why you weren't there, but throughout the years as I matured and just kind of grown up, you know, I think it's certain things that it's really not meant to be understood. I'm thankful for the relationship despite any and everything. I'm thankful that over the years, the relationship with you and my grandmother, you know, developed into something that I can have peace with. You know, despite anything, I'm just thankful for you being my mother. Without you being here, without anything, I wouldn't be here. I just want to say thank you, I love you, and I hope, you know, the things that you had to go through as I was growing up and some of the pain that you probably had to endure didn't break you. So I'm thankful for everything, and I love you to death. My name is Porsche Jones, and I do it for the culture. I do it to leave legacy, I do it to leave a mark, and I do it to be impactful. Because if I don't do it, then who will? The most important thing is to make sure whatever God gave me, the purpose that lies within me, every day I'm trying to figure out what that is, but I'm not gonna waste a moment not doing something. So for the culture, for legacy, and for my grandparents, they paved the way, and every moment I get, I'm gonna make sure Mandolin Scales and Robert Scales' name will always be in my heart and be on my tongue. And everything that I do, I want people to know it's because of them that I'm able to move the way that I move.
That's what I do it for. Yeah. Watch me get it, you can get it, we can have it. Tell me what you do it for. Yeah. There's a bigger picture than just running to the back. Blood, sweat, and tears, put in all these years just to make you smile a little wider, life a little brighter. That's what I do it for. Tell me what you do it for. I'm just steady working on my dreams, trying to build a future for my fam and my team. You think I'm playing, you think it's a game. Just know that I won't lose, I gotta win. This for all my little ones on that grind coming up, surrounded by dream killers trying to knock you off your path. I'ma set the trail if you wanna follow suit. Just don't ever let nobody take your glow. That's what I do it for. That's what I do it for.